All right, everyone, this is going to be Magic Worm 101. I'm going to talk to you all about the Magic Worm, the most versatile bait I have, the most dependable bait I have in my boat. This is something that I lean on, and a lot of guys on tour are leaning on pretty heavy. A Magic Worm, you know, we all want to come and we want to catch them on a frog and a big swim bait and flipping a jig, and all that sounds good. And there is days, 1 out of 50, that the conditions and everything line up to where you could do that. But day in, day out, you have to produce on the tour, and there's so many times, man, where it's like something changes and the fish get a little finicky. The Magic Worm produces for me. So it's not just a limit filling technique. This is something that I've used to make top 10s, to win events. Mississippi River a couple years ago, I won, and you know, day one I had the biggest bag. It was all drop shotting on Missile Baits Magic Worm. So that should tell you it's not just a limit deal, but it's a very versatile bait, you know, and I got it on 3 setups. This was a collab bait with Robo Worm. So, you know, Robo Worm's been around for a while, man. So many fish been caught on a Missile collab with them. You know you have a good bait. So three ways I rig it: shaky head, drop shot, and then the Nico. This setup, these 3 setups are, I'm gonna say, are in my boat rigged and ready year round. Okay, why 3? Why like that? I'll explain to you. Okay, so the drop shot is something that I can fish around grass, structure. I fish a weedless drop shot. This is something I use with live scope, targeting suspended fish sometimes, but you know, I get in a scenario where they're running a grass line or they're suspended off the edge of docks, laydowns, etc. I got a little more confidence throwing that into some structure and not getting hung up. So that's the deal there. And the drop shot's a little different. So the shaky head's weedless as well, but sometimes a little cold weather or certain scenarios where the fish are wanting to feed more towards the bottom, the shaky head's my go-to. A little colder water. You know, another scenario is like a lot of times on herring fisheries, you get this herring bite early in the morning and then it stops. Those fish don't leave those herring points. A shaky head is a deadly tool to throw up on those shallow herring points and just drag it. Catch a lot of fish doing that. And a Nico is just your all around. You could do it all. You could fish this on the bottom. You could catch suspended fish. It's probably the most versatile of the 3, and must have. You know, a lot of times, you know, you could be like let's just say this: I could be on a deep grass bite, and I'm fishing like a 8 to 12 foot grass. It's submerged, and I'm all into like flipping this grass. Well, I pan out with my scope, you know, as I'm fishing, and I see one just floating, a fish floating outside the grass over there, throw the Nico over and catch it. So that's just a scenario of many, but that's the deal, guys. And you know, we have a ton of colors. You probably need to get several different colors with this. You know, I got green pumpkin money, blueback secret, John's juice here. I'm big in a Junebug dream a lot of times once I get in the summer. You know, Ed's orange is another really good bait that you need to have. There's so many options, but if you want to start, you know, maybe get Ed's orange, blueback secret, green pumpkin money, John's juice, Junebug dream. Get those 5, you get after it. You know, we have it in 2 different sizes. We got the 6-inch, which is what I have here. Probably, you know, my bread and butter is a 6-inch. We also have the mini Magic Worm, and that's a 4-inch model that, you know, we get into colder weather, very finicky bite. We'll scale down to the 4-inch. I noticed like a past event just recently, I was throwing a drop shot setup Magic Worm to a bedfish that I saw on my live scope on a stump, and it would just swim up and look at the 6-inch drop shot worm. Now, I was catching a lot of fish doing this, but this particular fish would look at it and wouldn't bite it. And I switched to the 4-inch, first cast, got that fish. So that's a little, you got to play with that. But that's the deal, guys. This is a very versatile deal. Incredible fish catching bait. Sometimes you got to keep it simple. And worms catch fish. If you could only have a couple baits, worm will be one of them, and the magic worm needs to be one for sure.